Welcome, folks. We've got a new episode of something we haven't titled yet. It's like Fillmore's filler, but we're going to call it something else because guess what? Sam is with me on this one. So we thought we would throw this one out in between episodes. We're not sure when this one will air, but we hope you enjoy it anyway. As always, is quite frankly a Howard Stern podcast. We're on all kinds of podcast media. Podcast apps, that is. And please, if you can, remember to sign into our YouTube channel and subscribe. And because we're going to be doing a few more video walkthroughs over the next few months as well. And we're just going to read some of the comments you guys have left for us on YouTube and some of the Facebook comments as well, because a lot of those are really great. So
I have to say, I think, and I've said this before, we have really intelligent fans who give incredible responses, and I feel bad that we can't even get back to all of them all the time on these comments in our videos. I wish I could respond to all of them, but we post a video or two a week or a podcast or two a week, and sometimes it just gets overwhelming. So we definitely appreciate all of you guys commenting. They're hilarious, and eventually I end up reading them all. Yeah. Everyone's so funny.
Those of you who wonder what happened to your comments, I have to be honest, YouTube has deleted some of my comments, my responses when I've responded on the app as opposed to on a PC or a laptop, which I don't understand why. Maybe something I have to update, I'm not sure, on my app. But in terms of the channel where I know I have blocked people or deleted their comments, it's because they said something incredibly insulting there was no constructive criticism. It was just outright, I hate your voice, or I hate this, or Fillmore sounds like this. And like, well, okay, those get deleted and you get blocked because clearly you're not a fan and you don't care to make it better. So you're not planning on liking the show. We don't want that on there. So help us. If you don't like us, tell us why you don't like us exactly. And then we'll leave it on there and we'll respond.
Yeah, things we can change. I'm one of those people, I don't care. Like I want constructive criticism. I think that helps you better everything in general. So that's awesome. And we really appreciate that kind of criticism. If you're just being insulting for things that we can't change, like the sound of our voice, I don't know. Yeah. I can't help it.
Right. So suck it. The first, I'll read the first one. This is from our Absentee Father of the Year podcast that we released. I think Raven might have been on that one, and she'll be up on a future breakdown coming soon, guys. So you can rest assured she's not gone anywhere. She's just needed a bit of time off. This one is from UMAD 1729. Robin was a nurse but can't clean a room. Right. Yeah. Well, she was a nurse the way Howard was just about everything. Let's go to...
It's so funny.
Go ahead.
My mom's a nurse, and she sends me pictures sometimes because she's retiring next year, and she sends me pictures of herself and working overtime in the COVID mobile sort of, I guess, like mobile stations for COVID testing. Mm-hmm. And I think about how much work she does, and I think about Robin as a nurse, and it just blows my mind. Like, were how?
Right. And if you read her book and her accounting of her nursing days, you'd think you'd prefer like bubonic plague or something. You'd prefer to die in your bed.
She was a nurse the way I was on Halloween with like stripper heels.
I love how she was in the pediatric wing, and at the end of her book, she left the big sister, the little sister she abandoned her less than a year into it. And she goes,
bad.
Was it mired in guilt? I fled to a health spa. So I had to move on with my life. Can you read this one here, Sam? The from the Spit Roasted Pelican Testimonial Trainwreck.
I see. I can't see that.
Okay. Okay, and it's Jessica Luberta's.
Oh, okay. So the in post.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Jessica Luberta says in post. I love Sam. That's because this episode, oh my God, needed some severe editing. I mean, wow. They just threw the kitchen sink and everything in it. And they go, oh, yeah, yeah, well, we're going to take that out in post. And I was just flabbergasted in post. What? There's a post?
Okay. Are you going to read the Upson Pratt comment here? I
Yeah.
bet
Upson Pratt is hilarious.
This is from. He's a good poster. He's often has a lot of incisive things to say. This is from NPD 4, episode 33.
Yeah, he's great. He posts really funny things. He says, the question isn't why did Howard walk on Beth's white carpet? The question is, why does Beth have an office? Is it a pretend office? I can imagine Beth went to Office Max, got a bunch of pens, pencils, and stick-it notes to put on her desk to make people think she's doing business in her office. She probably even went to the bookstore to get a bunch of books to put on a bookshelf to fool people into thinking she can read.
Is Office Max like Office Depot, or did they become
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, it's essentially, like the Home Depot of office supplies.
We've got one from SA space H, who's commenting on the Summit Part 3, Who Mourns for a Dumbass episode. And she says, or he says, I've re-listened to the saga about 3 times now. I love it. Every time I get more exasperated. We did while we were recording it. And yes, we're getting, thank you guys for being re-listeners, because we have something like 750 something subscribers, and the number of subscribers doesn't explain why some of these are getting thousands of hits, because it has to be you guys are re-listening. So we appreciate it. We try to make it so it's like a song. You can keep listening to it and get entertained by it.
That saga, people who listen to it over and over, and they say that's one that they like to do over a bunch of times and re-listen. I can't tell you what a slog that awful summit was.
That's right. And if part 2 does come out, yes, we will be giving it the same treatment. It's just going to take us a lot more fucking Xanax and Maalox and I don't know, whatever else gets us through it. But supposedly that's being released. What about this one from Jeremiah Smith on the same video?
Howie Baby used to talk about all his rival radio stations and how the program directors would be wined and dined with meager steak dinners. Literally his words. Decades later, he's reduced to being on the other end of the table pitching this to his staff, the same exact lame payola tactics that he righteously decried in the past. Certainly, no big entertainment star would be interested in rubbing elbows with this douchebag staff he had. So true.
Yeah, that's why the cringeworthy really comes in, because it's so pathetically desperate. I think that's why, people were.
Would, by the way, Fillmore, okay, so you give this summit, who would you want to be whining and dining these celebrity agents? Sal, Richard, fucking JD? Oh my God.
Yeah. This is a comment from, I'll read the next 2. Damon Giles, who posted on the No Need for Icky Vaginefeld, episode number 24. I like Sam. That's a woman you can go to war with. Respect. Thank you, Damon. Yes, I agree. And that's why we threw our lot in together, because we have simpatico with this stuff.
I appreciate that one, because on Reddit, I've read comments where they're like, could you imagine dating her? Psycho. I'm like, yay.
This was normally the longer ones, it's going to be tough, but I'll go through it. Natalie Pinaro Stack, who's one of our favorites. She's very verbose, but that's also good. I mean, that means she cares. She wrote about on the NPD 4 Part 2 episode, number 34. Such a great show. I'm learning so much about NPD as well. Beth reminds me of a saying, quote, a woman who marries for money pays for it the rest of their life. Unquote. I wonder why Wiggy even wanted to do this. I think it may have been a little test for Beth. You guys may have said why in the last episode. Also, at 34:13, did you hear the panic in Beth's voice when Howard said, maybe I'm not the man for you? And she said, are you kidding? Is this for the show? See the threat. What a dick. I can't fathom how Beth stays in this mentally abusive relationship for at least 20 years. Allison married him when he had nothing and knew him before fame, so she was on a much more equal footing than Beth could ever be. Like Sam, I really don't like Beth because she did sign up for this. I wonder if she is deep enough to see she basically sold her soul to the devil for fame and his money, which he controls anyway. I think at this point she stays because where is she going to go? If in that prenup there are a few million if she leaves, I would have taken it in a heartbeat and left. Also, when she mentioned about going out with friends, I just thought to myself, she doesn't have any.
It's so true.
She may have some Hollywood friends, but Howard had said Beth really doesn't have a lot of friends. I wonder what her mental issues are to stay in this with such a miserable monster. Thank you, Jim and Sam and Bob D. XOXO. P.S. The sickest part is how he seems to be proud that he controls Beth, that he wants her afraid of him, and he's a puppet master. Yeah.
I have to say, wait, go back to that comment. When she says, if there was a prenup and a few million, I would have taken it in a heartbeat and left. I think that train, there was a certain point where that track could have switched and she should have went that route, and she didn't. And now she's too old.
What is she gonna do? If she leaves, she'll get a prenup. But the way she lives, those millions won't last very long. 'Cause she's too stupid.
She lives way too wealthy, and there's no way somebody wealthier as a man is gonna take that fucking head case on. No way.
Yeah, and how do you downsize when you've got so much, and then all of a sudden you've got to really, really downsize? A lot of musicians, when they get big and then lose their career goes to shit, and sports stars, they do the same thing. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Can you read this one here from Steve Cunningham in the Rescinding Volume 3 featuring Ellen, episode 32?
By the way, Florentine told me he listened to that episode and he said, he texted me, he goes, I knew that they had a contentious relationship, but I never realized how brutal Howard was to her. Like, exactly how brutal. He's like, holy shit. It was bad.
When I started,
how could you ever be friends with someone like that?
When I started collecting them, I started thinking to myself, first of all, I would have no respect for someone who said all these things then completely did an about face, because you couldn't take their opinion seriously. It really is like a double agent in a war.
Fillmore, how could you get married on their show?
Maybe if I want to like humiliate him, which is why I think a lot of them put up with him, because they're just amused by his stupidity. So Steve Cunningham 4 days ago commented on this video and said,
"So Howard growled and bluffed like the cowardly lion for years, but then Ellen's phone call pulled the thorn out of his paw."
Great episode. Let's see what we got here. This is from our very latest episode, the Failed Fox Pilot Part 1, Episode 35, which, by the way, the second part is coming up. You guys will have already heard it by now, I'm sure. But we got such a great response for this episode. I was shocked because the clips have been on YouTube for ages. And I guess maybe because we put it all together with the other clips, that makes a difference.
I still cannot believe how bad it is.
It is one of those pictures that you're still seeing images later. Okay, so Oscar Patino said, intro is sad. I want Howard to be happy, whether that means storming out of the closet, divorcing the horse, moving Ralphie Cakes into his bedroom at Castle Grayskull, and euthanizing all the cats. Yes, his new PC show is lame, but in today's climate, that's just smart. Corporate woke, cancel mob, don't play around. I loved Classic Stern. Great show, by the way. And now there's a disagreement here from Andre Bruinsma, who is a great, great poster. Did you want to read that one?
Andre says, I disagree. The success of comedians like Bill Burr prove that it is possible to navigate these issues if you do it thoughtfully. I think if Stern was an honest person with genuine empathy, he could have a very compelling discussion about his blackface episodes. He could discuss how, in hindsight, it's offensive, but that the current cancel climate is also unhealthy. I think his ratings would go through the roof if Howard pivoted to an adult format. But that's not Howard. He's not a principled person, so he's not capable of having a thoughtful, even-handed conversation about these kind of things. It's why he evaded any serious discussion about politics when he was on Mayor last time. So I don't see his new PC show really as smart. I see it as Howard recognizing his limitations. That's a very thoughtful comment.
Yeah, I think so. We've got a few little, there's a few extra ones on that one. LDN91 says, this pilot is a mess. There's no direction at all. How did he think this would ever get picked up?
Well, they offered him to go against Johnny Carson, according to him, and they offered him it. And he turned it down because he was like, I could just do what I want on the radio, and that's for me, baby.
Mighty Jones has really stepped up his posting. I think he's sort of a newish poster. I'm not exactly sure, but the same episode. I'm not a high-level TV executive, but I'm pretty sure Fox didn't have two dudes showing their guns to entertain late-night America in mind. Okay.
That was like a horrendous part I blocked out.
Let's see. Okay. Would you like to read this one from Al W or ALW?
Sure. You guys are right. Howard has learned nothing. It's pretty strange that Howie is running this TV pilot like a radio show with no planning, while he runs his current radio show with too much rigidity. Is that how you say that? Rigidity?
That's correct. You got it.
Okay. It just seems like too many syllables. A TV show. A TV show has a fixed length of time with commercial breaks that needs to be planned down to the minute. A radio show should not be run like Saturday Night Live because it has more time to fill and can get away with more spontaneous bits and ad-libbing. You're so correct, Al.
Absolutely. This is good from HK Fin 83, one of my favorite commenters on the channel. This is from the third part of the summit once again. At around 2 hours in, Howard essentially announces to his entire staff that they have now been tasked with another full-time job. Brackets. Publicist, show booker,
surprise!
Twitter spammer. That they were neither hired to do nor received any training thereupon, nor will receive any remuneration there regarding. And he's watching. He knows what you're doing. He sounds like Santa Claus. Are there any labor, basic human rights laws being breached here? I mean, this is New York, right? This can't be legally permissible.
Well, HK Finn, they really fucked up labor movements.
Yeah.
They were mostly run by the mob in New York. So I think that I think they're just SOL. They just don't have any recourse. Okay. They have to be those Twitter spammers now.
Okay. Shelley Lannon commented on the Fox pilot episode. Sam, quote, swollen camel. Oh my God, I just died.
Those leotards were just...
Yeah. So this is a more recent poster. This is from Crozier's Shell Station. Say that 5 times fast. And he's also talking in this exact same episode. Every time I've seen this, I keep wondering why he's so angry in it. He acts as if he's wanted to do this stuff for a long time, but something or someone has been blocking him. What the fuck? He could have put all that red carpet breakfast thank you gifts for guest shit years ago. But all that stuff costs money. Go ahead, Sam.
You know what, Crozier? Shell Station? I can't believe you're right. And this also makes me think of the Fox pilot where it's like, why are you angry at the fact that you got offered a TV show that you have to put effort in? Like, he acted pissed off, like, oh, I gotta do it. Yeah. Don't you want a show? Didn't you want this?
And then you got Buckwald saying this would be extremely problematic to get a show. So let's continue. So I think his anger comes from him wanting to create a high-class, elegant, luxurious experience, but also to exert financial anorexia on the show. It's pretty clear that Howard is anorexic, and I think as it took control of his body, he applied it to the show as well. I want to be thought of as generous without spending any money. That's his anger. He wants to be the good guy and the bad guy at the same time. No wonder he changed his tune about Ellen. They're basically the same person. Brilliant.
Wow, that was such a great post. He really is like, in Pride Rock after Scar takes over in The Lion King. It's just like buzzards and fucking circling hyenas. Fucking
Okay, I'm just
carcasses.
the okay, this is a few more comments that we have not gone through. Um, this is from the NPD3 iPelican episode 31 from Argo Vermeer.
Argo says, "This is the best channel on all of YouTube." Oh, thank you. And Bob is a great addition. I love to see Howard finally on public trial for being such a colossal asshole to so many for so long. Oh, you know what? We do too.
This is there's a lot of people that have given us thanks for doing these things while they are at home and can't get out, and because everybody's in a different situation depending where they live, and we're more than happy to do these things regularly as long as we feel they're good enough to put out. And we got a few comments that all kind of say the same thing. So, guys, we hope wherever you are, you're all doing well, and that the COVID thing doesn't have you in too bad of a shape. So we got
But
some.
we're more than happy to provide the entertainment. I mean, I love that my rage. And
Absolutely. So there was a Reddit post recently, and the guy's name is HKD knows Jew bastard 68, and I think a lot of it could be bullshit because of I looked at his other posts and most of them were just all such hot garbage, and a lot of these people just post stuff to get attention and get likes and upvotes and all that shit. That's why Reddit is you got to be very selective with who you're taking your stuff from. But he wrote from a back office employee. This is supposedly new scuttlebutt. Friend of mine works on the show and he told me to post what I want, but to keep him under wraps. Brent was asked not to come back and settled for a $25,000 severance package. In my opinion, yes, he was not asked to come back because, well, he's Brent. What does he fucking offer? And 25,000 sounds about even more expensive, even more money than I thought he would get as a severance. So
I I was gonna
that makes
say
sense.
if if he's a part of some sort of union, maybe
Yeah,
breaking his contract prematurely, then fine. Then that
yeah.
makes sense. But if he's not a part of a union, then that doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. Yeah, most likely he there is some kind of union there. I have a hard time after the internal lawsuit that they wouldn't sort of make that an idea, make that a reality. And then continues. Howard has two phones, personal and company. That's not odd at all. It's pretty normal these days amongst bigwigs. Personal phone has like 5 people in it. Company phone gets forwarded to Marcy, and she handles who talks to Howard. I think Raven made me laugh hysterically. She posted,
Doesn't
"Here
he
are
have
the."
3 kids?
She said, "There's 5 people on it. Not one of them is his children."
Oh my God, she read my mind.
She said something like Don Buchwald, Marcy, Bowie, Robin, and his psychiatrist, or something like that. I can't
Oh
remember.
my God.
Raven, I apologize if I got it wrong. I'm just going on memory. So the
Ow.
next one is the one that it makes more sense because it's something we've been postulating for a while now. Howard is done after this year and has told most of his employees, but the people who Sirius employs will be put to work in different aspects. Sal and Richard are in talks for their own show. Um, what's it going to be called? What's it going to be called? Cock and Balls. Howard has already signed a deal with another company to do a David Letterman type interview show for 10 episodes, which, if true, shame on the company for wasting money on him for that. And also, I can't wait to see these 10 episodes.
Okay, I have 2 things to say. One, if Sal and Richard get their own show, do they have to sign something that says they're not going to talk about the ins and outs of the Stern show?
I would imagine. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then second, this baffles me that after all of these years failing on television, that anyone is going to offer him.
Yeah. I
And
can't even.
I mean, I can't believe we have just. Does anybody not have a computer that they can't pull up the internet and just go, hey, youtube.com, Howard Stern on television, and just say colossal failure, colossal lazy fuck. It's the worst, awkward, boring,
Do you think?
inane bullshit you've ever seen in your life.
Do
You
you
might
think
as well
Ted?
fucking hire a carny who does a magic act.
Yeah. Do you think Ted Sarandos just has a slate and chalk in his room, and he doesn't have an actual telephone? He just uses Morse code to, if this is, you're right. The idea that someone hasn't seen his output from the last 10 years or 20 and 30 years and gone, we're not going to subsidize this horse shit, this amateur hour crap.
Do you
So
need to hear, does any audience need to hear the woe tale of Howard Stern and how he made $96 an hour in the fucking early 80s?
yeah, yeah. So what about with the next one? The starting with
Mm.
Shuley, who we fucking
So
hate.
Shuli, who we could care less about and would never do a show on if you paid us.
Much
Shuli
less,
cheated
much
on
less, much less three. Go ahead.
Shuli
Fuck.
cheated on his wife. It's a shocker. And a back office employee told his wife. Ooh. Shuli went into a rage and made the decision to get out of there and follow his wife and kids. They went to Alabama, by the way. No one from the show knows anything about what Artie is doing. Okay.
No
But
surprise.
a lot of shows like to speculate on it because they're fucking vultures.
Yes, an
I'll be
asshole.
back. True. I'll be back for more. And those of you who will be like, he's full of shit and he's obviously lying, I don't care. That doesn't change the truth. Okay,
Yeah.
well, meh.
Yeah. As for Shuley, who knows, who gives a shit? Honestly, that's his. We made it a sort of policy, at quite frankly, to not really talk about spouses aside from Howard and Beth, because he fucking pushed her down our throats, and we find it fascinating as train wrecks go. But with Shuley, like he doesn't earn. I hate him for the way he crowbars the whack pack in, and they take advantage of them the way they always have, except they're not getting anything out of it. In the old days, they might have got like a $500 game thing that, of course, Howard wasn't paying for anyway, but at least they got something out of it. Now they get nothing, and a lot of them are saying fuck you to the show and not coming in. And Shuley's pissed because that gets him airtime when they're able to come in. Hence why you've seen Underdog Lady, I don't know, like 100 times in the last few years, because no one else is willing to do it. Crazy Alice wants money to come in, but Beetlejuice has nothing to do with him. Is probably making his own money. Hyperjeric's getting cameo money, so fuck the show, right?
Well, I mean, how much of a fuck you is it when you were on the show during its height and
Yes.
you were part of building the character of the show and a main draw and laugh
Yep.
and drawing comedy into the show, and you weren't paid before like Instagram and branding and this sort of thing was a more well-known way to make money, and those people would have branded themselves correctly had they had the knowledge to. But now they do know what that is, and they're saying you should pay us because we're a draw, and he still won't.
So yes, and as regards to Shuley's wife, she's off limits as far as we're concerned. Like, we're on team his ex. Sorry, like whatever she did, more power to her. I don't. That's not our business. We don't really care, and I don't. That's as much time as we're giving on him. As far as Artie goes, we guarantee, guys, when we're able to, when we put the feelers out, we are going to put out the fucking best Artie interview you've ever heard. And he's done some really good ones, but you haven't heard too many of them because two people are too concerned with making him uncomfortable, like asking him about Howard shit. We wouldn't even have to mention Howard, and we'll still make an amazing interview out of him because he's got so much to talk about. His show before it went dark was amazing. A lot of it was really, really good. His Nick and Artie stuff before, things took over, unfortunately, addiction, what have you, was amazing. It was really amazing. So he's got stuff in him.
That's some of the best unknown clips. If people want to, Artie, of course, was funny on the Stern Show, but if people reference and go back and do the Nick and Artie clips, they are some of the funniest fucking things. The one day you were just sending me little snippets during the day, I was laughing so fucking hard. It's incredible how fast and perfect they meshed together when he was doing well.
Oh, yeah. He had such a fastball. It was unbelievable. And it's sad that he's not able to do that now, but hopefully he's going to get back into it. From what I understand, he's going to be doing some kind of podcasting again. And in this day and age, why not? I mean, you're at home, you're doing what we can do, and people do want to hear from you. So if there's demand, why not? So we more power to him, and we hope he's doing well. Anything else, Sam, before we sign off?
I just really appreciate anyone who even takes the time to leave a comment. I think that's really sweet of you guys, and I enjoy reading them and all of them. I read as much as I can, and I think they're hysterical. You guys are so funny. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
And guys, and please, guys and gals, all alike, please don't limit it to YouTube. Also on Podbean, there's a function via the app on your phones. You can leave comments there, and we will definitely read those as well. And likes and all that. That all helps in the metrics of the whole thing. So, from Sam and I, thank you so much, and we hope you enjoy this little bit of. I don't know. Not Canadian Thanksgiving's coming closer. It's coming first, so we're giving you a little
Wait,
bonus at some point.
when is your Thanksgiving?
Uh, last Thursday of the month, I think. I can't remember.
I don't know when mine is either because I'm always drunk.
I don't fucking know. I honestly, like, I'm the kind of person I can
not
live.
not in life, but on Thanksgiving. I mean, what
I,
else am I gonna do? It's
I'm the,
watching Dallas and being drunk. Is that not what Americans do? We
I
could
don't
watch
know.
the Dallas game.
As I get older, certain days mean nothing to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I know my birthday. I know that for a fact. I know my
Why
wife's birthday.
imperialism and colonialism is it important to you?
If I could get a fucking turkey for Canadian Thanksgiving, I'd be all over it. That's maybe after moose, my favorite meat, and lamb. But
I love lamb.
Yeah. Yeah, so the lambs have stopped screaming over here. But Mrs. Fillmore will not eat any lamb. She hates the smell of it because they raised lamb actually when they were growing. They raised sheep when they were growing up for the wool, and they had the funniest names. One of them was called Lone Ranger because he had this black, mask around his eyes. One of them was all white. They called him Miracle Whip. It was it's cute names. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, and find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter. Check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. And we're trying to guarantee an episode a week. Sometimes you're lucky we'll get two, but not generally because it is a lot of work to put these together. And we're more than happy to do it, but within limitations. So thank you so much. We love you. Stay safe.